14 years ago, I made one of the most defining decisions of my entire life. I quit my job to be a stay-at-home mom. Not because it was easy, not because we could afford it without some sacrifice, but because I knew deep in my soul that it was the life that God was calling me to live. Yes, I get to be available to my kids. Yes, I get to support my husband. Yes, I spend my days creating beauty and warmth in our home. But more than that, this choice was a conscious, deliberate effort to align my goals with my reality. I gave myself permission to live rooted in my values, to stop chasing the world's expectations, and live the life that I truly wanted. 1 income, 3 kids, 0 regrets. That is my reality. And today I want to tell you why I chose this path and how you can make choices that feel best for you too. First, I want to give you a glimpse into some of my life experiences to just kind of show you that this choice to stay at home with my kids and to live on 1 income was me embracing the woman that God created me to be from the very beginning. My story really is one of leaning into my design, my personality, my gifts, and creating a life rooted in my own personal truth. So I grew up with a mom who stayed at home with us and a dad who worked really long hours to make that possible. I was very blessed to be raised in a Christ-centered home, full of love, full of care, full of nurturing. I have an older sister and a younger brother, and we lived such a simple, happy life. We were definitely low income and never would have known, honestly. We were super happy, so many great memories, very close-knit family to this day. Growing up, I started babysitting when I was probably 11, I would think. I became the neighborhood babysitter. I was just so good with kids. I loved kids. They loved me. And it just very quickly became my life. And I babysat all through my preteen and then even teenage years. I remained doing that all the time because that was my passion. Even in high school, I joined the program where you could be a preschool teacher, and so I was part of that kind of high school preschool. Loved every minute of that. I went to college straight after my high school experience, and at the university I knew exactly what I wanted to do. It took me 3 years to graduate, and I got to have the experience of really seeing the research that a parent's presence matters. I was able to see the development of children and learn the science behind that. All of my passions, all of my interests came together through my bachelor's degree to really solidify my plan to be a mom. I did an internship while I was at the university, and I did that with the Utah Foster Care Foundation. Got to work with the trainers of the foster parents, and that comes into play later in my life, that internship. I got married while I was in college. We struggled with infertility for a couple of years, and through that journey, I just knew this is my calling. I want to be a mom. If it's not in the cards for me to have my own kids, I want to have kids another way, and so I wanted to be a foster parent. It's something I wanted to do because especially of my internship, and so I just dove right in and became a foster parent. We were placed with 2 little boys. They were in our home for 18 months, and I loved the experience. It was very strengthening in a lot of ways, and while we were fostering, I actually got pregnant. So the boys went home just 3 weeks before my daughter was born. I had my second child a couple years later, and it hit me like a lightning bolt that I should homeschool. I hadn't been homeschooled. I didn't know anyone who was homeschooling. Kind of just straight from heaven, this inspiration came, and after really looking into it and thinking about it, I just knew for sure that's what I wanted to do. And so I homeschooled my 3 children. I ended up having a 3rd child 3.5 years after my second. So Clearly, my life looks different than yours, right? As I go through this video and as I talk about the decisions that I have made, I want you to look at your life, not just try to copy mine or anyone else's you see. Really ask yourself, what would it look like to live by my values? In looking back on my own life, it's very clear to me that at every turn, the Lord was with me, preparing me for life of motherhood. My desires, my interests, my goals, everything pointed me in that direction from the very beginning. It's just what was already within me. And I was able to continuously pursue that and prepare myself for that calling that I knew that I was going to do. Leading up to the actual decision to quit my job, there were definitely moments when I looked at the paycheck that I was walking away from and thought that maybe I was completely crazy. Even though I felt very called to be at home raising children, I knew that we couldn't live the same lifestyle on one income. And that was scary. But I was so incredibly confident in my own personal path. My faith made it very easy for me to walk away from working and walk forward knowing that this would be the greatest work I would ever do. So, what does life on one income look like for me? Haircuts at home. For all of us, including me, I cut my own hair. Thrifted clothes and home decor and dishes and anything else I can get my hands on. Hand-me-downs, homemade meals, very simple beauty products and routines. Budgeting, fewer extracurriculars for my children, very simple, heartfelt traditions, free hobbies, less travel, all of those things. And yet, you know what else it looks like? Gratitude, togetherness, kids who know hard work, intentional spending, creativity and resourcefulness, creating a support system, putting the Lord first through tithing. We donate 10% of our income to our church. It hasn't always been easy. I still wrestle with scarcity mindset sometimes around money, but coaching really helped me see that security doesn't come from money. It comes from my skills, my mindset, my choices, and my faith. Stress is always a choice, and joy, well, that's just the reward of choosing an eternal perspective. We read in the scriptures that men are that they might have joy. Well, joy is found through the struggle as we grow into the best versions of ourselves and acquire more skills and experiences and strengths. Had I stayed at my job, my life would be unrecognizable. I would have missed the chance to raise my kids, to homeschool them, and to pour into the foundation of our family. But there is something that I didn't share earlier about my life experience. Years into homeschooling my kids, I hit a breaking point. I had poured every ounce of myself into my family and felt completely empty. I didn't regret my choices, but I was exhausted. I was burnt out. I was lost. And that is when I found life coaching. And to be honest, it truly changed everything for me. And it changed me. I stopped outsourcing my emotions, I learned to set boundaries, and I reconnected with who God really wanted me to be. Sending my kids to school was the right decision at that point in my life. So if you take one thing away from this video, let it be this. You don't have to become someone else to live a meaningful life. There is not ever going to be one certain way to be a one-income family. There's not going to be a certain list of things that you can check off. You get to decide what's right for you. You just need to become more of who God created you to be. So let me ask you, what would it look like to live your life by your values? Lean into your design. Stay rooted in your truth. And if you want help making confident, spirit-led choices, I have created a free ebook just for you. It's called You Were Made for This, and it's for anyone who's ever felt like they need to change who they are to be a better mom. It's a short, faith-filled guide to help you reconnect with your God-given strengths, learn the coaching tools that changed my life, and build a life that feels aligned instead of exhausting. It's going to help you embrace the mom God designed you to be. The link is in the description. You are all truly incredible, and I'll see you soon.